Welcome back to Talkback Live. We had to step away for a moment there to get the breaking news in. Of course, if you stay with CNN, not only do we have these fascinating conversations, but also we bring you the breaking news as it happens. All right, now we want to get back to our conversation about the California Medical Association perhaps making a push to raise the legal age where you could buy cigarettes from 18 to 21. A lot of opinions on that in our audience, but you got to hear this guy on the phone from New York. Is it Nick?
Yeah.
Nick, tell me your proposal.
I think we should lower the legal age and voting age to 13. And by the way, this is supposed to be a free country. This is why we got rid of the Soviet Union. If we want to live, if we want to have all our rights taken away, we can just go back to communism.
Nick, you think kids should be able to buy cigarettes at 13?
Sure, they already do anyway.
What have you been smoking, Nick?
Nothing.
All right.
I'm 34.
And are you buying cigarettes, by the way?
No, I don't smoke. And I don't
Okay.
drink.
Hey, Nick, where is the freedom and the slavery to nicotine addiction? And only teenagers start to smoke. So please take that into consideration. No, the Europeans empower their kids by saying, you know, we trust in you kids. They have less regulations, but they have a much higher smoking rate than we do. They're 35% smoking. We're like 24% here in the States.
All right, I want to go to our audience now, and now we're going to Stephanie from Arizona. Stephanie, what do you think about raising the age where you could buy cigarettes from 18 to 21?
I believe that by keeping the smoking age at 18 and by having the drinking age at 21, we're sending the impression that smoking is not as dangerous as drinking, when we all know that smoking is, in fact, as dangerous, if not more dangerous, not only to the person that's smoking, but also to others around them. And
so you
I
can lower the drinking age to 18 from 21?
No, I definitely think it should be 21. We should at least give the children 3 more healthy years.
We have 2 other guests who want to get on this as well. Joining our conversation right now, John Banzaf, Professor of Public Interest at George Washington University. He is also Executive Director of Action Smoking and Health. And Audrey Silk, founder of New York Clash, Citizens Lobbying Against Smoker Harassment. Welcome. Thanks for joining our conversation.
Thank you. If I could answer that question.
Jump right in.
All right. Although most kids do, in fact, start smoking before 18, a significant number, in fact, do start between 18 and 21, and many who started younger and then quit managed to be lured in between 18 and 21. There are unique tensions and temptations as they go away to college, start their first job. They have a higher rate, by the way, in that rate than any other category, than all adults, and they cost us all non-smokers billions and billions of dollars every year, so there are good reasons for doing it.
Mr. Reynolds makes my case when he says that from pushing it from 18 to 21, when he says it's 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds smoking, he wants to reach a smoke-free society. And this is their goal, wrapped up in this Trojan horse, to change attitudes and make people think even harder, and oh yes, it's so bad. We must take away adult choice. When you have 18-year-olds who can serve in the military, it's extremely hypocritical.
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute. We already
only children are starting to smoke,
states.
Audrey. Only teenagers start to smoke. Those are the only ones who are getting addicted. After 19, virtually almost nobody starts smoking after 19.
Mr. Reynolds, millions of people have
heroin.
quit. And millions of people have quit. It is a choice that we can choose to make ourselves. We don't need somebody else to choose for us.
Once a teenager gets hooked, just a moment, once a teenager gets hooked, the average smoker smokes for 17 years. They try to quit smoking. They can't quit. They smoke on average for 17 years, spending around $1,200 a year on tobacco products. That's a lot of money over 17 years, and it's as addicting as heroin. Unlike military service, unlike alcohol, unlike getting married, it's as addicting as heroin, and only our kids are starting to smoke. We need to raise the purchase age to 21. And
I want to throw one other idea. I want to throw one other idea out there. Even the American Lung Association doesn't agree with this idea that they're saying that that's not where you should put your efforts in raising the age of when people can buy cigarettes. What they do suggest is raising the taxes so that it's more expensive to buy tobacco products, and that would put it further out of reach of young people. Audrey, what do you think about that?
That's an assumption that you can only do one thing. One of the things we know about smoking and smoking education is that there's no one thing, no one magic bullet. In California, they have restricted smoking in public places. They have raised the tax. They have done a fantastic job of anti-smoking education. They have almost the lowest rate of smoking and teen smoking anywhere in the country. Now, we are overlooking the idea that at least 3 states you can't buy cigarettes at 18.
Well,
this is not some inherent freedom. No, at 19 you can, but if it can be 19, it can be 20.
Well,
in most
why
states
not make
you
it
cannot
30
buy
then?
alcohol. You cannot serve in various public offices. As a practical matter, kids of 19 or 20 can't rent cars. They can't sign most loans without a co-signer. So it's not as if
there's
they're
an
complete
assumption
adults.
here that underlying this discussion that I'd like to question, which
Go ahead.
is because the vast majority of smokers start as teenagers, if somehow we could magically prevent them from touching cigarettes until they reach the age of 18 or 21 or whatever it is, perhaps 25 or 30, then no one would ever smoke. And I think we simply
I don't think he's saying no one. I think he's saying fewer, and fewer would be a good thing.
The same people who start smoking now as teenagers might very well start smoking at a later age if somehow you could prevent them from having access to cigarettes. But in practice,
Arthur, you should know that all of the evidence is to the contrary, that very few people start over the age of 21.
That's in the current situation. I'm saying if you could somehow prevent all of those people from touching cigarettes until they turn 18 or 21, what would happen?
But I tell you, I work on a college campus, and I know a lot of the kids come in, they are not smokers, maybe they quit, maybe they never started, they suddenly have to pull all-nighters, they're in a dorm, they're worried about all these tensions, and suddenly they start smoking, and that's one of the reasons why the tobacco industry is so dead set on getting kids at that age to start.
The point I'm trying to get to, even with the law now at 18, and we can just see from using you guys as a group here, kids are going to get cigarettes, and the law doesn't, as it stands now, is not necessarily going to keep them from getting those cigarettes. So isn't really the effort that needs to be made more education and enforcing the laws that already exist?
Wait a minute.
One thing we do know is that the laws do make it more difficult for kids to start.
That's right. There was a regulation for a while that a child had to look 27, and if they don't appear to be 27, the clerk has to ask to see ID. Now that merchant education, fines to clerks, sting operations going in and sending kids undercover in to try to buy cigarettes with agents waiting outside. I'm sorry, these regulations work, and I would be in favor of them because we have a lower smoking rate. In our culture, in America, we tend to be a bit more regulatory than in Europe, and it's working. We have a 24% rate of smoking versus 34% in Europe.
He would prefer that nobody smokes, and using this as a ploy in the next step to make tobacco socially unacceptable, denormalize it, to use in their own words. They wouldn't care if you're 18,
Audrey,
21,
tobacco
or 50.
Is socially unacceptable.
No,
and
because you say so.
Around the world today, we are expecting 500 million people will die from smoking. That's 9% of the entire world population will die because of smoking. Almost all of them started as teenagers, and we can do something about it.
And you have quit, and you're a perfect example that if you want to, you can. You have
and Audrey,
tell me again, Audrey, tell me how old again you were when you started smoking?
16.
16.
And I have no intention to quit. I do not want to. I enjoy it.
In your entire life, you've never thought about quitting?
No.
Audrey,
we're not just talking about heartstrings, though. We're talking about pocketbooks.
No,
we're talking
glad,
about
Audrey,
a cost
that you
of $130 billion a year, most of which is paid by non-smokers in the form of higher taxes and health insurance. Not just heart attack. It's
so the smokers paying for your new suit, your new class action suit that's coming up. You're
all right. Okay. Now we're starting, you guys. We're gonna.
You know what? The social cost, if I might, just quickly.
No, I'm sorry. We're out of time. Sorry, Jacob. We're out of time.
Right.
We're gonna let Audrey go have a cigarette break. She might need a cigarette right now.
No
I want to say
lawsuits,
thank you.
Audrey, sorry.
No lawsuits. Just a quick drag on a cigarette. Thanks to all of our guests. We want to say thank you to Patrick Reynolds, Jacob Sullum, John Banzak, and Audrey Silk. Thank you so much.